The information discussed on Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell is believed to be from reliable sources. However, no responsibility is assumed for inaccuracies. No statement made on this broadcast should be construed as a specific recommendation of a particular investment product. Views expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent those of CBS Radio. Use only as directed.
Smiles, everyone. Smiles. And prepare yourself for...
Show me the money!
Ladies and gentlemen, the radio broadcast experience designed to keep your wallet in top condition. It's Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Talkin' money. Talkin' money.
More money, more money, more money.
And now entering the studio, your guru for fiscal fitness, Jeff Tarbell.
Yeah, how you doing?
Morning.
Back on the Big Show Live. How are you?
You're all dressed up, Jeff. You going somewhere?
You know what? I'm damn tired is what I am. I got up too early. We were supposed to be down at the I'll call it a mall, the Country Club Mall, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too. We got all kinds of things, and we are live today, and got some fun things and some interesting things popping up, and the normal bit of giveaways and good stuff. That's John Fodorero. I'm Jeff Tarbell. That's Christopher Laud. And we start every show the same way. I'm sure last week you were like in a total panic because we weren't here. There was Oakland A's baseball. You couldn't get out your big time, get it off your chest. So what's happening?
Not much. I dealt with it by leaving at 9 o'clock. So
okay,
it wasn't
good.
that bad.
Very good. So what's up in your world this week?
Man, I had just like yesterday, I had a whole bunch of stuff I could have thought about. I could have talked about English Premier League just starting today, which is really exciting, or the stuff that just broke yesterday with Chris Hansen donating to the Stop campaign in Sacramento. But last time, this drove me crazy. I went to the Punchline to go see Tracy Morgan.
Yeah.
I love Tracy Morgan, big fan of his, and love seeing comedians over at Punchline. And then you always get someone who wants to be part of the show, yelling something out, talking to them, hey, you should do this. Nobody wants to hear your opinion. When they pay to go see Tracy Morgan, no one thinks, I hope a drunk girl in the front row just starts talking and making the show about her. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about you yelling in the back saying, hey, Tracy, remember 30 Rock? No, we didn't go there for that. So in the future, everyone at a comedy show, there's two things you could do. Laugh and clap, and that is it. Then you're done.
And did he put her down pretty quick, or did he played along with her?
He played along with her a little bit, and then then she stopped for a while.
Okay, he moved on. And usually you can get a good comedian can usually shut someone right down pretty quick, but enough alcohol will pipe them back up.
That's
so
right.
I haven't been to the Punchline in a long. Where is the Punchline? Is there one down there? How about Arden, or is it out there?
Yeah, same one over by the Sleep Train.
Is there still one out there at? Was there one out there on Greenback for a while, and then maybe they closed that one down? I mean, that could have been years ago.
I'm not sure.
Before you. That's Chris Laud. You can catch him. Now, are you going to be doing the live rejoiners thing? Are we going to go? Are we continuing with that, or how is that going to work?
Sure.
That's entirely up to you. You can push a button, or you can come up with what you want, and you can tone it down too if you want a little bit. You don't have to be Scott Mokish. You can do whatever style you adopt. Go with your own style, or you can just hit the button and play Scott again. That's fine. I'm good either way. Yeah, we did. So I got a lot of feedback from our show with Tab Berg 2 weeks ago, August 3rd show. Hundreds and hundreds of tweets and comments on the Facebook and all the good stuff too, which is great. It means people are listening or interested in what's going on. We got more of them this week asking me, was that show live or was that show taped? And they were trying to figure out when those comments were made and whether they were made before Tab was paid or not. And so that show was live. It was August 3rd. And now knowing what we know, I'm going to replay that show in hour 2 today because I've had a lot of people asking me, hey, what did he say or when did he say that? And so it's up on, you can find it on the internet too, but frankly, most people listen on the radio, on their car when they're working. So we've cleaned that up and we're going to replay that segment in hour 2 today, which will give you, now that you know that it looks like Chris Hansen was putting up the money, and there were paid individuals here getting money from who, and I don't know who knew what, so I don't even care. But we'll replay some of that in hour 2 today. You can listen back and see, what you think about of some of those items now too, and maybe it doesn't matter anymore because people that were on that show are not in the group anymore, not doing the representation. If I was Chris Hansen, $100,000 to me would be squat, be the equivalent of you and each of us throwing down $20, and I wouldn't apologize. I mean, it's a game, it's a business. He's and let's be honest, he was PO'd.
He was pissed.
He got beat.
It's a choice he made.
He got beat, and he threw a little dagger out there. And the only reason I would apologize would be probably why he's doing it, which is you don't want to hurt your chances of getting a team in Seattle.
I think another big part is people say that Seattle just blew their chance at a team with this. I don't think so, but what I do think could happen is they say, you'll get a team, but Chris Hansen, you have to take a back seat.
That could very well be. And he may have shot himself in the toe there. The NBA wants one thing, money, buckets of it. And if there's a bigger bucket of money in Seattle, it is green up there, right? If there's a bigger bucket of money in Seattle there, they'll put a team there. And if there ain't, they won't. So, and it won't matter what, you don't think there's a few other NBA owners that haven't done some dumbass stuff over the last few years, and if I won't even get into the NFL owners. So, please. Yeah,
it's $100,000.
He took a shot across the bow, and
he's a little upset.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, and I don't, he got caught, and so we're all apologetic if he get caught doing something, embarrassing, but
we all move on, right?
If I was a billionaire, I'd probably be throwing $100,000 at here.
Things that piss you off.
Yeah, just go throw a little bucket in their water too. So anyway, we'll do that in hour 2 today. So if you didn't catch that show, that was from August 3rd. That was with the Stop Group. We'll do that again today. If you have some comments you want to jump in on that, you're welcome to do so. Our phone number here at KHTK Sports 1140 is 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, and you can text us if you'd like at 441140. I think the text machine is working. I see old texts. I don't see anything new, so we'll see how that goes. Was down in Southern California for a week was that last week? No, I guess it was a week before, because last week was the Oakland A's game. Kind of hanging out and with my daughter for an event, and basically just working from down there. And I was in Century City, which is effectively, 2 blocks west of Beverly Hills, kind of UCLA area, if you're familiar with the area. Nice area. And the reason I bring that up is only because I was practically run over about a half a dozen times by the Tesla vehicles, because they don't make any noise. And they're everywhere. I mean, I've never seen so many Tesla vehicles as I saw in 1 week in one spot. So if you're not familiar with the Tesla vehicle, it's the all electric vehicle, and they are not cheap. I mean, these are vehicles that are probably $80,000 to $100,000. So they're kind of Jaguar-ish looking if you haven't seen one, 4-door. And it was such a unique experience, because you'd have 2 types of vehicles, and the other vehicle that you don't see a lot here locally, and if you do see one, you don't see it moving, is the Ferrari. And there was, a Ferrari every 8th car going by. Maybe it was the same guy just driving around. I don't know. I couldn't tell. So you have a car that sounds like no other vehicle in the world, automobile in the world. It has this distinct sound. And then you have the Tesla that doesn't have any sound at all. So you have these two competing for one another. But it was an interesting week down there. And Tesla sells their vehicles right in the Westfield Galleria Mall. There was a kind of an outdoor mall right next door, and there's a car sitting out there in the little walkway, and then there's one inside. And so, literally the room was no bigger than the studio we're in here. There's one car in there, and then there's your 10 colors, and then there's your 10 different leather styles. There's all your different trim things. You basically can, because they don't pre-make any of them. There's a waiting line. You basically pick and choose. I'll take that trim color and that sunroof and the sport package and those rims.
Write your check
and you want and we'll see you in somewhere between 3 to 6 months, depending on which one you ordered. And Tesla is not making money yet, but their stock is certainly making money. And who owns and who started Tesla? Anybody want to take a guess? Anybody know? You know, Chris?
I know what he started.
Okay.
And then he's the PayPal guy.
Yeah, I was going to say Elon. Musk is his last name. I just went blank on his first name. And he also came out this week. Anybody catch the, where is it? I had it right here. What was the thing he came with? The Hyperloop? Was that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, here it is right here.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon. I did have it right. The half-hour ride from San Francisco to L.A. by capsule. The conceptual rendering shows billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk's Hyperloop transportation system. Now you got me going. The high-speed rail, not so in favor of. Expensive and not that cool. It's just a train going faster. You get in a 24-person tube going 700 miles per hour. I'm in.
Now you're talking.
I'm in. And this is not really new technology. I mean, it's basically magnets moving. Which I think is the same way that they do getting a roller coaster moving. That they do a progressive magnet.
Yeah, they're talking about the same way money's transferred at the Costco. They fill up the bin, put in.
Yeah. The old office thing. Here comes your paperwork. Yeah. So they're basically going to put our ass in a vacuum tube and shoot us to L.A. I'm all for it. I want to know what happens when one of the tubes stops in the middle of the tube somewhere, and you get a Hyperloop accident, and you're 6,000 miles down the tube.
It's a hyper accident.
Yeah, and it's only a half an hour, so there's probably not any bathrooms in there, but you probably can hold it. And at 700 miles an hour, even if you go, it probably doesn't.
Hey, I'm pretty sure you're not like, hey, I got to take a leak.
It just comes. You're on your own there. So I'm all for it, and they're talking about putting it right down the center. And they're talking like they're going to do it, but. It could go right down the center of the freeway. Just think about the loop going over the Grapevine too. That you talk about the
they're all stopped there, and you're all
go fly through. So I'm in. If someone wants me to pre-purchase my season pass for the Hyperloop to LA, I'm in. And I like it. I like it. You get the immediate feedback from politicians. Oh, you can't do that. That's we don't know what that is. So they don't know. We're going to spend a bunch of money on it. We know what a train looks like, so we'll do a train. And we'll mess that up. Anyway, I thought that
when the loop goes to Vegas, then I'll be interested.
Oh yeah, well, you get a loop going. You're half an hour to L.A. and then you're a straight shot across the desert. You could put that thing in the desert tomorrow. I'll bring a hammer. We'll put that thing up. You beat Vegas, Chris. You beat Vegas in an hour.
With how bad the casinos are doing there, I think you could get it paid for.
You probably could. You get
hyperlooped right into your room.
I know. And do you spill your drink when you're on a 700 mile an hour hyperloop? If it's going straight, you're probably not.
I think you just IV it, just straight in IV.
That's an awesome idea. See, we're on it.
Then you're not spilling.
You're right to the vein.
That's right.
Right to the vein.
No waste.
And the reason I bring all this up is that I'm looking at two vehicles: the Tesla, which is a $80,000 vehicle, and that's a starting price, 80 to 100, and the Chevy Volt. Chevy Volt is now having to cut their price by $5,000 off their sticker price because they're not moving, and you're looking at a vehicle that would cost about as little as $27,500, and the government motors still can't sell the Chevy Volt. So there you go. Private industry making money at $100,000. Government motors losing money at $27,500. And that's with all the incentives. They start at $40,000 or $27,500, and you're not paying for gas in the Volt, right?
They came down a lot because I remember before they came out, they were 40, 45 grand.
Now here's an interesting. So you want to finance
it's an expensive battery pack.
It is, and here's the cool part that when you're down there and they're talking about if you want to, they don't really do a lease on a Tesla, but they're trying to come up with something similar. But when they talk about financing one, when if you notice it, it'll say $582 a month, and then there's a little star, and the star says after fuel savings.
Oh.
So it's really like 800 probably, but they're figuring, okay, hey, how much were you spending on your whatever, name it, your Porsche or your whatever would be comparable, your BMW, your Mercedes, you're going to spend $110 a month on gas or something. So we're going to factor that in for you because you're not thinking about it. I just thought I always dig new things and new ideas and no, I'm not getting a Tesla.
You're not going to get the
Tesla
Roadster Sport 2.5?
Is that a car?
That's pretty slick.
Let me see. Show me the picture. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Extra one in Jip.
See this thing come flying by? It's almost like the Loop. It makes no noise, and it just kind of...
Oh, I know. That is actually, it kind of looks like it looks like the Testarossa a little bit there. And how come always the cool ones are always debuted in Japan? Tesla is from here, right? They're made here. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, in California.
That's right. They took over one of the old Nissan plants or something. We've got all kinds of stuff to do. We got to take a break too. We should have been live this morning. Actually, John and I were live. The problem is we couldn't get any phone service down there to talk to you. We were going to be down at the Country Club Mall. The community housing fair is going on down there this morning and all day today. If you'd like to check it out, 2310 Watt Avenue, Country Club Mall. You kind of go in there in between the where were we there? Like the hometown buffet, the Staples or whatever that. Ross, maybe it was. You
Ross,
kind of
hometown buffet,
kind of on that
Chalet.
Yeah, right out kind of in front of
over where what was the name of that store used to be there? The end.
That
was like a support store.
This is a mall that is perfectly set to film a movie in because it looks like a mall. And I grew up. I mean, you could spit on Country Club from where I grew up. I grew up right in the area, and I haven't been inside that building in 30 years, probably 25, 30 years. And if they want to make a remake, I'm trying to think of a good mall movie, like Fast Times at Ridgemont High was like a lot in the mall. What other good mall movies? If you want to,
it's only a single story though.
Yeah, I know, but if you want to film a movie in what looks like a mall but really isn't, then that would be a good place to do that because, and I can't believe that Macy's is still hanging in down there too. And I don't get it because it's not like nobody lives around Country Club Mall. The population is still, everybody still lives there, and they're still shopping, I'm guessing. So which comes first? You got to bring in the high-end mall and the high-end retailers, and you'll bring in the people, or you got to have a collection of people you can bring that'll draw in wants to draw in the retailers. I mean, obviously, you got to have the attraction. You look at the Westfield in Roseville, it's always packed when you're out there, but it's.
I think when you put in the front of the mall a hometown buffet and a Ross, I don't know, just it's not a big draw for a lot of folks.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you certainly I'm not a mall expert, although I did dabble in it for a little while down actually in the Florin Mall. You have to have, you have to have the anchor. You know, who's on the ends and who's on the sides. What are those? Because if you want to be a small shop selling your custom shoes or your custom Boston Red Sox hats or whatever you want to do, you want to be in next to a big draw. So now I didn't walk down to the other end where Macy's was, and it could be that whole end was completely full. I didn't walk down there, so I don't know. John shaking said no. But it is interesting because certainly the population around that mall is the same as it was when I was a kid, and yet you don't see the kind of life there. It's interesting. But anyway, that's not what's going on there today. The community housing fair is going on down there today. So if you want to get some information from realtors, from lenders, from home inspectors, and those different entities about buying a house and finding out what's available, that is going on down there today. The Sacramento Realtist Association is going to be holding their event all day down there today. So check it out if you will. And I'm sorry that we couldn't. We actually, believe me, we showed up. We were there. We had that little panic look in our eye, like this phone ain't ringing. So we had to pack it up and get back here. So I apologize we couldn't do that live down there for you guys today. Chris, let's take our first break of the morning. I got some good news. Sacramento on top of the list. Friday, August 9th. Hot spots. Metro areas with the largest percentage increase in the median sales price of an existing single-family home from a year ago. Number 1 on the list. Sacramento, California. We'll talk about that and some other issues as well. Got a quiz question for you if you want to jump in today. 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. You can text me at 441140. We're going to give away, Chris, we have 5 pair of River Cats tickets we got to get rid of today because their season is over basically the end of August, and we're already halfway through. So we're going to get rid of all 5 pair of River Cats tickets today.
Yeah, so quiz question of the morning, the first one of the morning is Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Disney gets hurt, and they're going to lose about $190 million on what? What is Disney going to lose $190 million on?
Mickey did some kind of bad. Mickey did something bad, huh? Mickey never does anything bad.
Mickey's good.
Mickey's good. It wasn't Mickey, but it was Disney. So
yes, it was Disney.
Disney company is going to take a $190 million loss on what? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 441140. Glad to be back live with you. I hope you're doing good, and we'll be
right back. Jack.
Talkin' money.
Well, alrighty then. We're back to Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Yeah, how you doing? We are back. Hope you're back. Hey, school's back in.
A little transition week.
Nice little respite for some of the mommies and daddies out there who get their kids back to somebody else's daycare off their own, at least for part of the day. So congratulations if your kids are back in school. And a lot of people that we're dealing with around us, the kids are gone to college now, and that's a whole different deal. All of a sudden, your kid doesn't come home at night after school. And it's gonna be tough for me when I have a daughter who's a senior to have her not, be home every night. So enjoy the last year of her senior year for sure. We had a quiz question during the break. Disney is going to lose. They're estimated to take a loss of $190 million?
$190 million.
Jeez. So I'm guessing one of their theme parks or something big went bad.
Yeah, one of those things you were watching when you were down in Los Angeles.
One of the
it's called a movie.
Oh yeah, I did see a couple movies. Yeah.
So, The Lone Ranger.
Oh, The Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger movie with a cost nearly $250 million. Johnny Depp starring in it. Apparently not doing so hot.
Not so good, huh? You said you tried to find it in the theater.
Yeah, I was telling Justine. I was like, "Yeah, let's go see it," and she's like, "It's not showing anymore." I'm like, "It just came out."
Interesting.
So that explains that.
I was going to bring this up another day, but since we're on that topic, I'll do something fun real quick. So, one of the biggest problems with these big movie premieres, obviously not that one because nobody saw that one, is people pirating the movie, coming in, filming it, and then turning and reselling it, putting it on DVDs. And the movie theaters have come to determine that they have such a short window of time. I mean, if it's a real big movie, then everybody will come and see it in the first few days. So they're trying to figure out, okay, how can we avoid people taping it illegally and putting it on DVDs and selling it? So one of the things that they're coming out with is technology that a legitimate DVD has a code in the DVD or the Blu-ray machine itself, and if the Blu-ray player doesn't pick up that code, it won't play the movie. So that's one thing they're coming out with now. So almost all the movies are coming out with a certain code that if the player doesn't pick it up, then the movie won't play. So if you the other thing they're coming out with, which I thought is super cool, if you think about it, is the private eye camera. And what they're doing is they're mounting a camera back up on the screen, the movie screen that shoots back at the audience, and it's picking up the signal of someone who's filming or recording either with an iPhone or a camera. It sends an immediate alert to the management, and they will come in and arrest you.
Does it zap you too? It should like stun gun you.
That would be awesome if it fired like a
fire
beam
up your
right back in your eye, out. So Chris, here's a quiz question for you, just off the top because you're such a buff in there. What do you think right now is the most pirated movie that's playing right now?
That's playing right now.
Yes, or just semi recently. And I haven't seen this movie, and they say that it's a true story, and I want to go see it, but I don't know if it's true or not.
I know what it is.
Is it Jobs?
No.
It's the scary one.
The Conjuring.
I saw it.
The Conjuring.
Yeah. Does anybody know? Is that really supposed to be real?
I saw the movie because that's what I
did?
had to go see instead of The Lone Ranger, which I'm not big on that. But Justine loves her scary movies, and it's I don't know.
Whenever they say based on a real story, it means someone kind of talked about it somewhere one time.
But
that's true.
When you saw the preview of it, when they were in the movie theater, they actually showed the real family it was supposed to be about, and so that.
Yeah, no, there's a real family. There's all kinds of. You got to go see it.
Do you ever? We are way out in left field now. Do you ever remember Eddie Murphy? I think it was in Raw. He did the video Raw, and my favorite line from the movie is that. Why do white people stay around when there's blood in the toilet and there's someone going out? If you flush a toilet and a hand comes out of it, a black family will get the hell out. and that's the greatest line. Oh, that's peculiar. We should try to figure that out. Boom, we're out of here.
That's the first thing I said. They're in this house. I'm not going to give the movie away, but we're watching. So I'm like, why would you not just leave? Immediately.
The first time I see my daughter tied to a chair and it wasn't her sister that did it, I'm going to probably get up and go ahead and go. They know this house isn't that great.
The guy's business was driving 18-wheelers. Pack it up, leave.
But as a real estate guy, aren't you saying, oh, this is going to be impossible to sell now? Just stay in, keep cool for a little bit, and then sell it.
It's going to modify it. So when my whole family gets killed, it'll be much easier for me to disclose the fact that I hung it out. Hey, you got to give it a shot. They didn't make it, but we gave it an honest try. I'll discount the house $5,000. Maybe in Sacramento it doesn't matter. I don't know. Sacramento. So get this from a year ago, median sales price, and it's funny. Sacramento always ends up in the Wall Street Journal, and I think it's just because one, we're a very good market for we're like a good median market. I mean, we have kind of the average income and kind of the average population and the average demographic. So you see a lot of new products that are brought out here in Sacramento because they figure, okay, if it'll make it here, because you have such an even disbursement of incomes plus and minus and race and all the things that go on, and you'll see that. And so Sacramento tends to end up on a lot of lists, but the one that's, I guess, good if you're a home owner, maybe not so good if you're still trying to buy a house. Sacramento, California, up 39.2%, number one on the list for largest percentage increase in the median sale price of an existing single-family home from a year ago. Now, that does not mean we are the highest median price. In fact, we are still right in there with Atlanta, Cape Coral, Florida, Reno, Nevada, Las Vegas, Riverside, Naples, Florida, San Francisco, which is the highest priced, Los Angeles, which is the second highest priced, and Jacksonville, Florida. Those are your top 10 on the list of hotspots with with high prices going up. And coincidentally, most of them are in the West or in the Sun Belt. You're basically looking at California and Florida are your two biggest areas. So that's good news if you already got yourself a house. Not so good. Let me look at this. Hold on. This was out of the Sacramento paper. So they put home sales in July. 3,900 deals closed in the capital area in July. Is that just for the month? Buyers purchased Sacramento, Eldorado, Placer, and Yolo County last month. That seems like a lot of transactions. Quite frankly, I didn't think there were that many going. I want to know why.
Four county, or
how come I didn't get 3,800 of them? What's going on?
You get 38 of them?
I might have got 38 of them. So you look at the map again, and with the exception of 95814 and 95618, which is over in the Davis area, and 95663, which is that's up in Placer. So three little zip codes. Everything else was in the blue, which was a 15 to 50% median price increase from a year ago.
Wow.
So that's a lot. And what concerns me is, now keep in mind, we went way, way down. So even a year ago, we were still way, way down. But 15 to 50% is coming back up pretty quick. What bothers me is where we're going. And what I don't see anything on the horizon that's helpful for home buyers, and I'm particularly referring to those that don't have one yet. Although you are starting to see more inventory. I got a email, or I saw an email blog from Deb Newton, who's a realtor at Coldwell Banker, and she put out a little email thing, or a little Facebook posting this week, said there's like 90 houses in Citrus Heights alone that are on the market right now. So not everybody wants to live in Citrus Heights, but since when would you ever say there was 90 homes for sale? Now, if you go and look at them, maybe they're 90, 85 of them maybe are overpriced, or maybe they're above I looked at them last night a little bit because we've got one that we're going to be selling in that same zip code, and a lot of them were over 275, to that 400 range, and that's a tough price for a lot of people to get into as their first house. And Citrus Heights tends to be more of a entry-level zip code than it does a move-up zip code. So, but there's stuff coming back on the market.
Yeah, I know we had a meeting with HUD, and they're stating that there's a lot of HUD homes that are going to be coming out in our area. Just things that have been kind of delving where B of A, Wells are sitting there. Do we give it back to HUD? Do we take our insurance? What do we do with it? So that there are some backlog there that's supposed to be coming back on the market.
And HUD would be anything that would be FHA owned.
Right.
Did they give you any indication of like how many?
They didn't, but what they did say is they're probably going to be listing them at a higher price than what their appraised value is.
Well, good. I mean, and I say that because if they don't, well, what their appraised value is, not necessarily what was owed on them.
What they're appraising them at.
Okay, so it still probably represents a loss.
Correct.
But maybe not as much. And that was the part, to be honest with you, that was the part that the issue that I had with like a bulk sale to a Blackstone group or something like that, where if it's your money, and these are portfolio loans, and it's Bank A or Bank B or Bank C or us or whoever, it's your own money, and you want to bulk sell your houses to Chris's company over there and take a loss, I could care less. There's no skin off me. If it's Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's money, or they're behind it, or FHA or VA or USDA, and which is all of us, the taxpayer, and you're just too damn lazy to go get the best return on your investment for us, the taxpayers, I got a problem with that. So HUD is basically saying, hey, look, we're going to, we appraise these at a value. The market's moving up. Hey, I just said it was moving up 15 to 50% a year, depending on what zip code you're in. So mark them up higher.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they won't. They have to take the offer. It doesn't mean you have to make that offer. But I just think that I want us to get as much money back as we can, but we need more inventory. Now, the HUD homes, are they going to? So if HUD, and you were there, and I haven't done one of these in a while. So if HUD, let's say HUD puts out a house at $285, and it probably may have a hard time appraising for that, but close. Are they going to make you get an appraisal, or if you offer their price, they'll give you HUD financing?
You're going to use their appraisal, and because their appraisal is good for at least 90 up to 120 days, so you're using their appraised value. That's the one you're using. Unless you're going to go like 203K or something like that, where let's just say it appraised at 285 and you're buying it at 300. It needs some work. Well, you can do a 203K FHA loan on it. Do whatever you want to do, enhance the carpets and paint and this and that. But otherwise, you got to come in with the additional money.
Okay, so their purchase price is different than their appraised value. So if you offer over, you got to cover the difference.
That's correct, and they're going to be very stringent on making sure you have the funds, whether it's gift funds, your own money. But they were very particular about that. Okay, well, they want to get them sold. Yeah, they don't want to get drugged down 30 days down in escrow. And that's we need the inventory. So
yeah, we do. I'd be interested to see if we can figure out how many houses are in there. Of course, remember, HUD doesn't own them. I mean, well, they might own some of them, but the bank has to decide, what do I do with it? Do I give it back to HUD and file a claim, or do I keep it on my books? Or what do I do? So,
and that's why there's this backlog apparently that they've been holding on to, trying to figure them out.
Okay, Chris, I think we got to take one more break. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 if you want to jump in. What are your experiences? What are you finding out right now? I'm going to come back with some things that are coming up, and we'll talk about what happened this week. The highest point that mortgage rates and bonds have hit now in 2 years, and I don't see it coming back. It's just kind of a steady push on. So if you're out there shopping and you haven't locked in your rate now, you might want to do so. And if you're looking to refi or do something, you might want to do so. Although the 15-year fix has not been that bad. And
there's discussion about ARMs coming out. Yep. A lot of ARMs starting to work out.
So how many? Do we know how many tickets we gave away on the last? Oh, we gave away 2 pair? Okay, so we got 3 pair of River Cats tickets to give away still. If you know the answer to this, 339-1140, or you can text us at 44-1140. Go ahead.
Yes, our second question is roughly 21 million adult Americans don't have this.
Oh, I'm sorry,
21 million adult Americans don't have one of these.
A brain.
21 million.
That might be shy. Okay, it's 20. It's a product rather than a.
That's right. It is a
okay.
something.
I
guess your brain is something too, but
yeah, an acquisition product rather than something that's given to you or not given to you. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, or you can text us at 44-1140. According to JFOD, 21 million of you don't own one of these. What is it, Jack? We'll be right back.
Talkin' money.
And we're back to Talkin' Money. And here's Jeff Tarbell.
Well, 21 million people must not have the answer to our question.
That's right.
Because you wouldn't be able to text us if you didn't have the answer to our question.
And we would be celebrating the 40th anniversary of the first official call from this.
That's going to be fairly hard. The Bic Lighter. You said it was the Bic Lighter birthday.
And the official first phone call from one of these.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So
how's that for a hint?
So we've got 3. We got 2 more pair of River Cats tickets to give away to the 21 million of you who don't have one of these to text us on. at 339-1140 or text us at 44-1140. If you could text us on your thing you don't have, 21 million people don't have. And also, but you said it was the Bic Lighter birthday too.
Yes, 40 years ago, there was the first official call from one of these, and it was the fascination invention of the Bic Lighter.
So which has been sold, more Bic Lighters or more one of these?
That's a good question.
More one of the Bic Lighters.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, they're going to be more Bics.
A little more profit margin on them too, I think.
I don't know. How much does it cost to make a little piece of plastic with a little lighter thing on it? I mean, that can't be that expensive. And how much does a Bic Lighter cost? A couple, $3? I don't know. I don't smoke.
Pack of cigarettes for $10 and a lighter for $5.
And who actually goes through like a whole one? Usually you just lose it.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. It's like that's the whole scam. It's like you put it down. I can't find my Bic.
It's like chapstick. You use it like 3 times
and it's gone. You're right. It is a marketing scam. They actually teach them that they actually probably just melt away. So we'll leave that quiz question out there. We have 2 more pair of Rivercats tickets. If you don't know the answer and you want to just jump in today, if you can go to the Rivercats between now and the end of the season, which is at the end of the month, we'll give you a pair of tickets. So give us a call if you'd like to do that. We were talking before the break that house prices are up. Actually, John was bringing up between the breaks. Some of our best segments are actually when we're not on the air, which is usually when we're at our best and people don't have to hear us. But you were there. You go. Cell phone. Got one correct. You were talking about some of the you were the BI builder. So the builders are freaking out a little bit, or what?
Well, there's a huge change in the last couple months from lines out the door again with the price gains, price appreciations, houses, new homes going, people that had short sales foreclosures that are back in the market, a lot of that, and now all of a sudden that slowed down quite a bit.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's a combination of prices going up and affordability. Interest rates going up 1%. The fact that there is more inventory, we heard that. If you're out there looking and there's limited inventory, and now all of a sudden, well, this builder's opening this project and this resale home's coming about because now they have some equity in the property.
Yep.
They're going, I have options. So instead of just running because there's something there, they're now going, well, maybe I'm going to go look and see what I can get over here, and maybe I'm going to go look and see what I get over here.
Yeah, and I think what most people don't think about because frankly, it doesn't bother us. But if I'm selling my house and and I'm looking around going, okay, look at Sacramento or Placer County or wherever I'm at is up 15 to 50%. So well, hell, I'm gonna do like HUD. I'm gonna look at the price of my house. I'm gonna mark it up $100,000 and see if someone comes in and buys it. And then I decide, what, I'll just sell it for what it's worth. Then I don't really care what the effect is on my neighbors. I'm just trying to get my best price. But if you're a builder and you've got 100 homes in a subdivision and you've already sold 20, and they might not even be closed yet, but let's say they are. Let's say the first wave goes through and we sold all these houses at $350,000, and our next phase is going to be 400. So you bought the first 20, you're like, yeah, same model, going to be up 50,000 and make some appreciation. You put it on at 400, which I think is what you're saying, and all of a sudden there's nobody standing at the showroom to buy your $400,000 house, and you look around and you're going, oh damn, what did I do? Now, you may not have done anything, but maybe 400 was too much. Maybe a 5% interest rate is going to be too much. Maybe there was a cool house in Carmichael that came up and it already had landscaping in it, so they decided, okay, I'd rather get that for 400. So what do you do as a builder? You are, if you go, well, I need to cut it actually back to 3.25. You just kind of screwed over the whole first 20 people in your first phase because they just lost 25% equity. So you don't want to do that.
And they're really holding off to not do that, not to incentivize, not to lower these prices. And obviously the public builders versus private builders, there's a differential there too. Do I have 100 lots or do I have 4?
Yeah.
Or 12? So you can do a little different. But there's, again, a little bit of concern, but I think a lot of it too is just affordability. Rates go up. We're still looking at more jobs and getting through that.
Yeah, so we'll kind of end this hour with a little bit of what happened this week. And for those of you that are just tuning in, hour number 2 today, we're actually going to replay the stop group there. We had Tab Bergen, who was speaking for the stop group on August 3rd, so that would have been 2 Saturdays ago, and we had a full hour with him and with calls and some different questions and comments. And now, knowing what we know about kind of where some of the monies came from, who's involved, kind of some of the things that have shaken out a little bit, a lot of people have asked me, to replay that or what did he say about this or what did he know? And so I'm just gonna replay the hour, an hour 2 today, so you can hear that again, and you can make your own thoughts on what you do about that decision. But this week was not a good. Monday through Wednesday was pretty good, and then Thursday, the market just took a dump, and Friday it got worse. And we are now at from a lending standpoint, some of the highest rates we've seen in the last 2 years. The bond market is at its worst point in the 2 years. Stock market equally didn't do well. Last week when we were in Southern California, President Obama was down there, and actually he was in Arizona first, and started talking about how do we get rid of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And it's popular speak for a politician, because if you just think about it and say, oh yeah, we lost a bunch of money from those two entities, so we should probably just get rid of them. That's an easy solution to discuss. The reality of it is that over time, going back before the meltdown and now going forward again, Fannie and Freddie made money and made a lot of it, and they're returning tens of billions of dollars now. Yes, they lost hundreds of billions of dollars, so we're not back to a break even yet. But
the paychecks are coming in.
The checks are coming in, and so to discuss getting rid of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, I think is a worthy discussion. Or should we modify it, or should we limit what the taxpayers should have to lose, or should we privatize it and just put investors in there only? Is there something we should do? And I'm all for having that discussion, because if you don't discuss it, things don't get better. You make the same mistake again. So, but that kind of discussion is not helping, in part, the confidence of the real estate community and the mortgage community, because that is a source for your loan for 90% of you. And there's a fascinating. So you look back in 2003, there was about $4 million in mortgage origination, $4 billion in mortgage originations in that year, and it was almost, actually 2004 was about half and half, almost half private money, half Fannie Freddie. In the last 2 years, it's been virtually all Fannie Freddie. And you look at the average credit score for a Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac loan. In 2000, it was 680, and right now it's hovering just above 750.
Wow.
So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, are looking for better quality loans, which is why they're not getting as many, which is why you're having a tougher time getting a loan if your credit's down there, which is why you go to FHA. So they've corrected some of their issues and their challenges, but it's not, that discussion is not helping the market. And I'll talk a little bit more next week about the Fed and some of the things they're doing that's really scaring the living hell out of the market. And we pay the difference. So that music means we got to end hour number 1 of 2. John and I have at least 6 hours worth of stuff here to do, but you can find us during the week on our Facebook, Talkin Money Facebook page. John Fotorero's at Comstock Mortgage, or JeffTarbell.com. Hour number 2 is a replay of August 3rd, the Stop Group in here live with Tab Berg. We're going to replay that in its entirety with the calls we've taken, all the comments. I've filtered nothing out. And have at it. Enjoy yourself and have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next Saturday. Aloha.